Hey guys. So I was going to talk about death today and just see where it goes. Because I said in my last video, I think it's a good subject to go into. It's one of those subjects that you may think about here and there for a minute or two. You may talk about around the time of a death of somebody, but it's certainly not a subject you bring up around dinner or with friends or just casually. And there's many reasons for that. Uh, Usually it's a comfortability thing, right? There's something about it that just is unsettling, and as a result, you just don't go there. And that's all the more reason if you're really interested in like who you are, life, the truth, to pierce into that, to like go a layer deeper, a little at a time, because this subject is not easy for a lot of people. It generally connects you with something that is traumatic or close to traumatic, because usually the subject matter um, is like, let's look, for example, when someone close to you dies, like a friend or a family member or a child, um, there's a lot of stuff that comes up in that time, and for some people, we don't really work through that. There's a long-term kind of thing around it that we kind of stuff away, or we just never fully come to terms with. And so it's there in some realm called unresolved death matters. So when the subject matter of death comes up, it's like it connects you to that, and you don't want to like go there because you're not accustomed to dealing with that kind of level of insecurity, uncomfortability, whatever it may be. And so, unless you're truly interested in like creating a life that's fulfilling or true and honest and connected, you're not going to go there. Um, Death may also be something that connects you to something about life that you don't like. Because for most people, if you're honest, there's usually something in life you don't really want to continue experiencing. You don't want to be around for. You could probably care less if you work another day. So there's always something for somebody, and so sometimes death is connected to this feeling of like, I can't wait to die on some level. Like you're not suicidal, but you're like, because once I do, like I no longer have to do this. There's a sense of relief, and that can be kind of normal, not nothing extraordinary. But for some people, there can be like a mental knot around that, because like if on some level you feel like you would like to die, it can trigger this mental thing in you where it's like, oh, does that mean I'm suicidal? Is there something wrong with me? Should I see a doctor? Do I need medication? It's just like it's not okay within yourself because you've labeled it, maybe society's labeled it, that you should want to be here. But if there's a little part of you that like doesn't want to be here, like it can really set you off. And it can be good to look into that, but at the same time, like, be prepared for a lot of stuff, because you may feel like you can't accept that. Like, there'll be some part of you where you're like, if I accept the fact that I don't want to kind of be here, that means I'm suicidal. And it doesn't necessarily mean that. I hope you get that. Like, just because you don't want to kind of be here on some level doesn't mean you want to leave altogether. It's you could say that there's aspects of the personality that truly just haven't quite accepted a piece of life, and maybe it won't never accept every piece of life, and that's just going to be your life, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you have to go. There's something wrong with you because you on some level are not wanting to experience that again. Like maybe something traumatic happened to you or somebody you know. And like the idea of being alive means that you may experience that again, or you may find that again, you may see that again. And so the idea of like leaving life is like, once that happens, I'll be free of that. I'll be free of that experience. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you may be dealing with something that could be healing to look at and to work with, because if there is something like that in you, then you may be slightly unsettled, or more than slightly unsettled, either not wanting to experience that thing, or you, as I said, you might be unsettled because you feel like you don't want to experience that thing, and because of that you kind of want to go. So like you're judging yourself based upon the fact that you kind of want to go, because if you kind of want to go, there's something wrong with you, right? You're suicidal. You should be here. You have to be here. That's what life's about. There's all these ideas around like having to be here. And again, let me clarify. This isn't about like saying, yeah, oh yeah, then I should just leave because I have a little thing that I don't like about life. It's just coming to terms with the fact that it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to feel slightly partial to the fact that there's things in life that you just don't like, and it may be even the idea of it never happening again. It could be relieving, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, there can be something juicy or useful in acknowledging that and not being at odds with this thing, whatever it is, the thing that you fear, or the judgment you have on yourself for having a fear that makes you want to leave. There's also so yeah, that's two. There's so many. I mean, if I think about it, and a lot of these are connected to ones that I've dealt with personally. They're all, in fact. Another one that was connected with death and life, or rather the subject matter of death, is like sometimes with death we've looked at it, we're confused by it, it kind of dumbfounds us, and it kind of flatlines or kills the fun of life, because sometimes you can like see death to such a degree where you're like, yeah, we're all gonna leave, so what's the point of doing anything? Like, why try at anything? Why make an effort towards anything? Why try to like do anything? Because we're all gonna die. It seems like we're all gonna die, and I'm never gonna take it with me. So what's the point? And that kind of attitude, while it's not wrong, can really kind of like deaden the heart, deaden the excitement, deaden something human or creative in us that can engage in life in such a way that it's actually interesting or like worthwhile. Because like if you write it off all as kind of stupid because you're gonna die, you kind of limit the whole thing. You kind of cut it off, and it can be enlivening or at least rewarding to potentially just say, hey, how about I not relate to life in that way? How about I leave open the possibility that, well, I don't know what life's about, and yes, death can happen. Maybe I can still engage with it in it, and there'll be something there that I didn't expect. Because you may not know that you're doing this. You may not realize that on some level you've shut down because you're just, the idea of death makes life kind of pointless and silly. Yeah, it's hard to really narrow down this one, because you either get it or you don't get it, because these issues are hard to see sometimes within ourselves. But yeah, so those are some of the things I wanted to talk about around death. There's so many more, and there's so many unique things around the subject matter that if you're really curious and you're willing to work with some of the uncomfortability, just looking into the subject matter of death and what it means to you, what it feels like to go into, what particulars come up, and to like slowly go into those and like shed light on them and inwardly talk about them, maybe outwardly write about them. Maybe you have people who you could talk to about this stuff who are interested in the same subject matters of just learning about life and death and truth, and it can be really healing just to to sort through these things with no intention, so to say, but at the same time, sifting through it. Because I said in the beginning, like, a lot of these things are delicate and scary, and it's common that if these things exist within you around death, that you're in some way in life skirting around it, or you don't want to go there in your life, or you don't want to. You're pushing away a fear always in yourself because it scares you. Yeah, not all the issues are connected to death, but there's definitely some juicy ones. Okay, so with that, I'll leave you with those three, and I hope you guys have a good evening, afternoon, or day. All right, take care. Bye.